All right, folks in cyberspace, welcome to Focus on Liberia. I'm Anthony CA hosting another edition of the Hour of Politics. Here in this edition, like I was trying to tell you earlier, we have a presidential hopeful comfortably seated in our studio here, and he's here to make the case that he will be a candidate in the upcoming 2023 general and presidential elections. I will be asking him all the questions. Folks, the thing is that we need a leader. We need one. We really, really do. Because those ones we've had, in my judgment, have not been up to the task. I need a Thomas Sankara kind of leader. Someone who comes and gives Liberia a paradigm shift. Those with the Harvard degree, the so-called experience, they didn't give us the meat. They left our people with crumbs. So I'm on this mission searching. And so when this guy reached out to me and said, Anthony, I think I'm the guy. I said, let go prime time. You can't be on two-side feet and you say you call yourself player. Hey, he's here. At this time, I will welcome my guest, a presidential hopeful, Mr. Jacob Seyon Kwateh. Mr. Kwateh, happy to have you. Welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you, Mr. Seyon. Let me first say thank you for your kind intro. And let me also use this time, since we are observing Memorial Day, let me send my salute to all of our fallen heroes, our soldiers, men and women who fought for this country and fought for our freedom. May the good Lord have mercy on their souls, and may their family be strengthened wherever they are. We bless God on this day. I think you have found the answer to your question. It's no doubt in my mind that I couldn't agree with you more that these are serious times, and our country is in serious need of leadership. And God willing, I can say unequivocally that your question has been answered. Yes, Jacob Seyon Kwateh is that leader you've been waiting for. And Jacob Seyon Kwateh is the next leader, Republic of Liberia.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Kwateh. Again, he is a 2023 presidential hopeful for Liberia as we join this mission of searching for a leader. But Mr. Kwateh, the thing about the leader that I'm looking for is not just the name. You know, I need somebody with a plan, and I think all Liberians, need somebody with a plan. Somebody well intentional, somebody who knows how to find the right people. But we will get to it. Let's see how the Liberian people can look at you. First of all, they want to know you. I want to know you also. The name Jacob Seyon Kwateh. Before, my name is Sia. You see it on the screen there. It means good. So I boast to say I'm a good guy. The name Kwateh, the name Seyon. Tell me what those names or mean actually.
Seyon, according to what I know, it's actually pronounced Seyon. I hail from the Kwateh speaking group. For us Kwateh speaking group, I think we made up 5 counties: Sino, Grand Jita, Maryland, Grand Bassa, Grand Crew, in that part. It's called us the Southeasterner. And the name Seyon, as my mom told me, she said it is the name of my grandmother. And Seyon, Seyon means to follow. So Seyon means one who leads. So even from the inception of my birth, I was given leadership by my name, Seyon, Seyon to mean to follow in the Kwateh speaking language. So so Seyon, but because we are so civilized now, and we have acquired some level of education, so we call it Seyon, but it's actually Seyon. Pronouncing in the Kwateh speaking language form. So Seyon means someone who leads. Of course, the name Jacob. I'm the only one in biblical history who told the good Lord, I will not leave you until you bless me.
So are you trying to make the president say that blessing, Mr. Kwateh?
Because God has a plan for Liberia, and God going to use his servant Jacob to be that blessing to Liberia. And I said to God, dear Jesus, I will not leave you until you bless Liberia, because it's about time that Liberia be blessed. It's too
and then
much.
Kwateh, and then Kwateh.
Kwateh is my surname. My father will have to interpret that. I don't know, but I'll go back again to my ask her what Kwateh means. But yeah, but I hail from Sando country. There were my parents from.
Okay.
I was born and raised in PHP. Grew up in PHP. As a little boy growing up, I played marble. I play Scrabble. I love to play Scrabble. I still play. I don't know whether you play Scrabble too, but I do play Scrabble.
I do, but I don't trust my skills, Kwateh.
I will help you. I will help you.
Okay.
I'm a good Scrabble player.
Great.
So yeah, just a little boy growing up, I had a fun life to rob tire with sticks. I don't know if you did that. We play blade, we play marble. All of these things characterize my upbringing. But central to my upbringing is my Christian values. My parents taught me from the very beginning. They taught me to church. So I grew up in the church, Second Providence Baptist Church, down Johnson Street. It's my home church. It's my birth church. That's where I grew up. That's where I learned the value of loving oneself and loving that neighbor, because that's where I learned my Christian value that says, do unto others as you like them do unto you. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Those are values I still have today. Today, as we speak. Today's day, I still have those values. And those are the values I want to take with me to the presidency, because it's about time that we understand that the presidency is not an entitlement. It's an opportunity to serve. All right. And this service is stemmed from my Christian values. I don't want to sound so.
Seyon, you know our country, Liberia, and you know us. If you are not a Christian, if you are a Muslim, you will claim to that, faith. And we all claim to be this, group of, religiously or godly conscious minded people, right? So what I'm saying is that anybody who said that, Bronskin said something like that, from what I remember. So what is it different about your Christianity, your understanding and knowing of God, that sets you apart?
May his soul rest in God's peace. Bronskin was a statesman who fought for his country. So may his soul rest in God's peace. What is different is it's true that everybody should have that self-assessment. I know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the man Jacob Seyon Kwateh. This is the man I can justify. All right. And I'm not just giving all words. Like I said in Liberia, I said words are cheap, but character is expensive. So when we're looking for a leader, like in your intro you gave so eloquently, what I taught you also left out is the piece of character. We have to look for people who have the character to take our country to a different level. Because people have come and said it, like you said, many people have come before Jacob. I'm not the first one coming to say, I love God. And we all should love God, because it's important for us to love God. But what I'm saying to you, based on who I am, knowing who I am, I can assure you and I can assure the rest of Liberia that if I'm successful, and when I'm successful, I'm going to base my leadership on my Christian values. Does it mean I'm going to turn Liberia into a Christian state? No. The Muslim have the right to live in that country. So to my Muslim brothers and sisters, I say to you, Assalamu alaikum. They just celebrated the Eid, I think about 2 weeks ago. So the traditionalists have right to that country. We all are Liberians. So too are we the Christians. And those that found themselves in between. All of us have right to that country. But what I want to do is, as president, I want people to know that you can't fake yourself. You don't have to fit in. Be who you are. Be who you are. All Liberia requires is your service to your country. Your earnest to your country. That's all we need. So I'm not.
Kwateh, thank you. Let's come to something else. Yeah, thank you so very much. Let's come to something else. In every job, they need somebody with experience. The experience may be minimal, sometimes may be more, and sometimes a little education too. That is key, So share with me and my listening audience what level of preparedness for leadership that you have, education and experience that you are bringing to the table.
The first thing, let me talk about education. And I resign not to highlight this, because I don't want this to be the focus. because what I want to
Yes,
focus on,
then do it in
yeah,
a way that it will not be
yeah,
the focus.
yeah. I don't want it to sound like I'm coming with that credential, because we have seen, like you said in your intro, people with doctorate degree that came before us, people with long credential, far extended than mine, that came before us. But yeah, it's true to some extent. I hold a master's in human services, graduated a magna cum laude from Capella University. I hold a BA, Bachelor of Arts degree in political science, graduated from the University of Minnesota, where a double major in political science and international relations / global studies. And I also minored in African American studies. There, where I was president for the African student 2 times. I also served as senator for the University Student Senate. And in that position, I also was elected vice president for the first time, the first Black to be elected vice president on the Student Senate. I also hold an associate degree in information technology from High Tech Institute. That's the level of education I have. And of course, what prepares me for this? I come with a long background of community service. Okay. I think you heard the word before, or the buzzword phrase, community organizer.
Yeah, and we saw one time that became so popular.
We saw one community organizer became president of the great United States. No comparison. I salute him. He's one of my fondest presidents that ever lived. Of course, speaking of President Barack Obama, some would say, well, he went into the Senate and stuff like that. But I haven't been in the Senate. I haven't been in government in terms of people going to the rank and talking about, the representative and stuff like that, even though that isn't a measurement, that isn't a yardstick to becoming president. All it takes, you should have some level of credential, confident, and know what you want to do. All right. I'm ready for this job. If I wasn't prepared for this job, I will not be making mistake to come in it. To come this far. All right. Not only am I prepared for this job, I'm more than able to do this job. I have a credential in human services. What we need now in Liberia, we need someone who will put people first. And I come with extensive background in putting people first. We did it for people in the US. We have a record in Minnesota where when our community needed us, it was Jacob Seyon Kwateh that led the way. Not to mention when Martha Sano was president, at the time we had president before. Right. Today we have executive director as leadership of OLM, but then we have president. When Martha Sano was president, in 2005, we led one of the biggest immigration rally for people on DED and TPS in this place. We were part of that organizing. We led that organizing to get our people to where they are, along with other great soldiers. I'm not the only one. I'm not taking exclusive glory for this. No, but we were part of it. We led that effort. So we have given our people that leadership. Sadly, when we had the crisis on our hand, one of our Liberians, brother, is now in prison. When he killed his son, the late Barry Collins. I never knew the kid, never met the kid. I think some of you heard about that story.
Oh, yeah,
we led that effort, yes. When everybody was divided on what happened to the kid, the father did it. We kept our focus on ensuring that we found our child, our Liberian child, we buried the child, then we can go after the perpetrator. And we did that successfully. Today, the father is in jail. Pierre Collins is in jail today. And we were in the court to represent. So we have done a lot of stuff for our community. When they were crossing, we stood up. When there were peacetime, we stood up. So we come with that preparedness. We are community organizer, and that's what we need right now. Somebody who will organize our community around our common good to be able to usher us into the future.
Thank you so very much. Again, folks in cyberspace watching us here at Focus on Liberia. If you are just joining us, we want to say welcome. This is an interview with our guest, Jacob Seyon Kwateh. He is a presidential hopeful for 2023. He is saying the past is the past. Let us embrace the future. And he wants to be our guy for that future. Well, Mr. Kwateh.
Yes, sir.
When you are running for president, I will agree there is a problem, or there are problems that you see. There's something, or there are things that are wrong that you want to correct. Please articulate for me and my audience what is wrong in Liberia that you see, or what are the things that are wrong without telling me the solution. Just tell me those things that are wrong, because you must understand what the problem is before you can find a solution. What is wrong with Liberia that you are trying to correct?
To be honest with you, Honorable Seer, if we have to be very honest with ourselves, we have to dig deeper. There's so many problems in Liberia. I can't sit here and start to, tell you this one, that one, and stuff like that. The problem is just enormous. And let's talk, for instance, the way we drive today in Liberia.
Okay.
We spend hours in traffic. That is a problem to me.
Okay.
In the 21st century, when time is of essence, when people have to get to places on time, we have to regulate the way we drive in Liberia. It's scary the way we drive in Liberia. I just came back from Liberia. I've been to Liberia 3 times since I've been in the States. And I've never driven one time. I've been there 3 times, but I've never driven. You know why I haven't driven in Liberia? It's not because I can drive. We're driving in the States.
Maybe you are scared.
Scared. Because the traffic, you just can't understand the way people drive. That's the huge problem. The next big thing we see in Liberia is that level of hopelessness. And this is not to cast a blame on any one government. And let me be clear, I'm not casting blame on this current government and stuff like that, because the problem is an age-old problem. It's just manifesting itself in different form. That's all that's happening. But the problem is multiple. You just can't explain. And it hurts. Liberia is in need. Liberia is in serious need of help. We're not talking about help in terms of token, help in terms of just give a piece of the pie. No, we're talking about help in reforming our whole country. The justice system is rotting. Liberia justice system is just broken. It's bad. We talk about the raw condition, then you look at the justice systems, then you look at the physical structure of the country. Liberia is it's just sad. That's why I'm motivating us to get up to this and joining. We're not getting in this thing because of joke. Our country needs all of us here. It needs you, it needs me, it needs all of us. It needs serious-minded people. Liberia, I'm afraid to say, let me declare this. I said it before, and I'm going to say this on your show. If we are not careful in the next 10 years, 2023 is an opportunity for us to rethink our country in a way that we haven't seen before. If we miss this opportunity to elect Jacob Seyon Kwateh as your president, I'm afraid in the next 10 years, I don't know what's going to happen to Liberia. Liberia needs a real leader who will say, you know what, enough is enough. Not just in words, because words are cheap, but in character. Someone who has a demonstrative character to show that when he says something, he would do it. Because he has a record to show that when he said it before, he did it. That's what we need in Liberia. We don't need lip service. So to tell you, if I just come and tell you, say this is the problem, that is the problem, I'll be lying to you. And I challenge any one Liberian to come and tell me that we have a signal problem. No, the problem is, it's just enormous. You can't begin to enumerate the problem. But yeah, it's what I think we can do.
Hold on, Mr. Kwateh. Before we get to what we can do, I want to know, there's a job that you are trying to apply for. The last time I applied for the job that I've been doing for 9 years now, I researched that job. I look at the responsibilities and I said to myself, I can do this. What are the responsibilities of the top office that you are running for? What is the weight of that responsibility?
I don't take your responsibility lightly. The responsibility is enormous. And that's why I prepare myself to be fully prepared to do this. You have to deal with, the rule of law. It's one of the basis. You talk about, in your previous question, you asked, what are the problems? And I said, you can't point to one problem. It's not a singular problem. The problem is there. You just can't point to one and say, this is it, because it's multifaceted. It's just huge. But the responsibility that comes with solving this problem, I don't take it lightly.
So I took a list for what is the responsibility of a president?
The responsibility that I'm bringing to this office, that I would do as president, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to ensure there is rule of law in Liberia.
Okay.
That is the basis for our new Liberia. We have to be serious about implementing and enforcing the laws we have. Does Liberia have laws? We do have laws. Are they enforceable? That's the question. And I want to tell you unequivocally, as president, you shouldn't wonder whether it's going to be enforced, because we're going to enforce the law. What Liberia needs now is the enforcement of the rule of law to checkmate the judiciary system, because the judges there and the lawyers, some of them, are the reasons why we have the problem we have in Liberia today. They are not fit to be in the court system. And as president, I'm ready to go after rogue judges and rogue lawyers to put them out of our court system, because they are the reasons why we have problem in our courts. Some of them just there because they want the money, but they're not there to serve the people based on the Constitution and the oath. The next big problem is our education system. I think we had a president who confessed that the education system was a mess. It's been how long? Almost 10 years plus now. And that system is still a mess, if not even messy. The physical health care of our people, the safe drinking water of our people. When I went to Liberia not too long, I just came back April 14. On my way to Buchanan, I stopped in the time of 15 minutes drive from Buchanan. There's a little time there. And when I interacted with the people, they took me down the stream to show me the water they use, they take shower with, they wash their clothes with, they bathe with, everything. That's in water. And I posted it on Facebook. I'm talking about today, Liberia. I'm not talking about last year, or I'm not talking about 10 years ago. I'm talking about today, this 2021. I believe it was I was there March, the end of March, this March 2021. Our people are still drinking from the water they're washing their clothes with, the same water they're cooking with in this 21st century.
Mr. Kwateh.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kwateh, one thing I've come to learn is we Liberians are good at describing problems. And where we have fallen short over and over is the ability to address those problems. Should you be lucky enough to become our president, how do you tackle these problems on day one, if possible, sector by sector? How?
The first thing I intend to do, and I make no secret about it, day one, you know how we do in America when they install the president, we'll be having festivals, people going around dancing and stuff like that. When people are celebrating the street, day one, I will go to work. Day one, I will sign several executive orders. One being executive order to revisit all concession agreements. That I would do on day one. The Firestone, the APN terminal, the Mental Steel, all the concession agreements that ever been signed in Liberia from Firestone to the Mental Steel. We want to make sure that we revisit that. That I will set up executive order for that. I will also set up an executive team, sign executive order to set up a presidential task force that will also overhaul our education system, overhaul our healthcare system, because we need to understand these things are broken. There's no mistake about it. We need to overhaul our justice system. So they want, we're going to job. We're not going to wait and be dancing with other people. Will we dance later on after we sign these executive orders? Absolutely, because there will be foreign guests coming in.
So let's go one by one here. Let's go one by one here. All right. The executive order to review all concession agreements in Liberia. What will you be looking for? What will be the goal? What do you hope to accomplish with that?
I do have experience in what we call reviewing RFP, the request for proposal. When I served 3 years on the Metro Park and Open Space Commission for the state of Minnesota, I served on that board for 3 years. The first black, I believe I was the only black on that committee at the time. What we did with RFP, if you send us an RFP, which is the request for proposal, telling us that you have this project, we review your history. So what I'm going to do as president, one signal question everybody going to answer: how does this agreement benefit Liberia? How does the APM terminal agreement benefit Liberia? How does the Firestone agreement benefit Liberia? From 1926 to 2021, 2024 when I'm president. What is the relationship between Firestone and Liberia? These are questions I want people to answer. We're going to look at how long the particular company been in existence. What is the history of this company? What is the track record of this company? What's the success story of this company? Where has it operated before? And what's the feedback from that? Those are things we'll be looking at. But the central question to all of this, one question only: how does it benefit Liberia?
All right. That's talking about how will it benefit Liberia, Mr. Kwateh. The Firestone thing is key. Since that institution was established, I believe 1926.
1926.
I hope I got my history right there.
Yeah, right, 1926.
The raw products are taken out of our country. What will be your policy on rubber in Liberia and any other raw materials in Liberia? What will be your policy?
My policy will be very clear. That's why I'm going back to revisit these concession agreements. Central to my policy is how does it benefit Liberia? So how does taking rubber out of Liberia, benefit Liberia? Or what can we do so that this time around Liberia can truly benefit from it? We're going to have a discussion with Firestone management. We want to understand, how can we be partners? We're not coming against any concession agreement. Let me be clear for the record. It's not a wish hunt against any concession agreement. It's just that I'm going to be president of Liberia and I want my country to benefit. That's just the truth. And I have no compromise on this. So we're going to ask Firestone, in a partnership form, to ask Firestone, hey, Honorable Firestone, Mr. Firestone, or whoever they are, how can we find this common ground so that they have a mutual benefit? How can we improve the living condition of your workers? These are things I'm concerned about.
Are you going to be negotiating with them, Mr. President? After you will come with your policy on things like rubber, for example, hey, I need 75% of the rubber to be manufactured here, and only maybe 25% taken out of my. You want to negotiate with them? Set your policy and let them fall in line.
Honorable Sir, what we're saying to you, that's why I said we are not here to wish hunt.
It's not wish hunt because you said any check that you put into place, the question you will be asking is how does that benefit Liberia?
Absolutely.
I think what benefit Liberia more is when they're using 75% of the rubber tapped and producing tires and producing slippers and plastic bag in Liberia, factories will be created. You want to negotiate with them for that?
No. What I want you to understand is that's part of our platform. I won't tell you 75% or 60%.
Why not?
It first has to start with understanding, because remember now, I have to understand what is Firestone own agreement, because remember now, Firestone signed a bona fide agreement with our country, and I'm not coming to alter the agreement because
why not? Why not alter it if it is not in the interest of the Liberian people?
If we have to reach that level, certainly we will. But I'm not coming to push them out of Liberia either, because I don't want to sound like if you don't give me this out of my country. No, it's not the higher hand.
And what's wrong with that? That's how you fight for your people, isn't it?
There are many ways you can fight.
Okay.
There are many ways you can fight. We're not going to fight Firestone to get Firestone out. We need Firestone partnership. We need ABN terminal partnership. We need Mental State partnership. So we're first going to have a dialogue. We have to understand what's going on. How is your policy affecting our people or impacting our people? We have to understand. Let them tell us the history. Maybe you'll be remiss to know that they will give a history of past leadership that have come to them and did what they did. So I have to understand what has been the problem. Why haven't we seen 75% to borrow your illustration? Why haven't we seen 75%?
Mr. Kwateh, when you're going into a negotiation, you want to go there from a position of strength. So you must have your strategy. You must have your plan.
Absolutely, we do.
And that's why you need to articulate.
No, but that's what I'm telling you. It starts with understanding what's happening. We don't want to sound like we're going to draft a concession agreement out of Liberia. No, I don't want to be misconstrued that way. That's why I want to be very clear. I want people to understand that It has to do with talking. We have to borrow your phrase, negotiate. We have to dialogue. We have to understand. I'm using the phrase understanding. I have to understand what's going on. That doesn't in any way compromise our position. We have a plan, and our plan is ready for Liberia to be developed. That is the plan. And nobody going to change that. But I first have to understand how has fasting been operating in the country. I can just come and put people out of the country. No, we'll not do that. I can be very proud of that. We'll not do that. Yeah.
All right. Thank you again, folks. Listening to us here, Focus on Liberia, Manson and CA. We are in conversation with 2023 presidential hopeful. That is Mr. Jacob Seyon or Kwateh. He will be a candidate from what I'm hearing from him here in 2023. So Liberians, be ready. He's telling us we must depart from the past. Maybe I should ask him, who all represent the past anyway? You want to comment on that? Who all represent the past? Do you see some of those past history individuals opting to be president as we speak? Do you?
As the saying goes, we have people recycling themselves, trying to match up to the current dispensation of things. Sadly, some of these people had the opportunity. We all looking for opportunity.
And what did they do with that opportunity? Did they squander it in the words of Josiah Mabwaka?
I will ask you to invite them. That's how you invited me. Let them have the opportunity to speak for themselves. I don't want to cast and say, but all I'm saying to you, we cannot go back to the past. Some people have been in government 10 years. The question is, what did you do when you had the opportunity? You know, some people come into this process with some sense of entitlement. You know, because I've been there before, so it's my time. Come on, man. This is not your time.
Do they feel some sense of entitlement, Mr. Kwateh?
Yes, because I've been there before, so I know the solution. Come on, man. You were there, you didn't provide the solution, and now you won't get the solution. Come on, man. You've been in government 45 years. What did you do? You've been there 30 years, 10 years, 15 years. What did you do? This is an opportunity for us to serve. The day the opportunity is given to you, take advantage of that day. Day one is the day to serve. It's not to wait for after 30 years and come and say, okay, you know what? I've been there 30 years, so I have experience. Trust me. When we trusted you 30 years, you didn't do anything. We should trust you for another 6 years. That should never happen, Liberians. This is the time to put the country into the future. All right? No, 30 years. Some of them been there in ministers. Some of them been directors. Some of them been assistant ministers and stuff like that. Then they rose to certain position, which I don't want to call here before. It looked like I'm pointing at one person. This is just the truth. We can't go back to the past. Liberia, it's time for us to move forward. The world is not waiting for us. We are talking about,
Mr. Kwateh, in this fight for this Liberia that we all want, are you going to come with diplomacy? Because I hear you, I don't want to call somebody's name before the thing that you are fighting for the soul of your country, and you are afraid to step on somebody to. Why not do that to save your country?
There is time for everything. There is time and place for everything.
All right, let's come to a point.
To fight, we want to fight. But as always, I'm going to represent 5 million people, and people expect the president to be class or classic. The people expect the president to be honorable. So we have to come, because again,
it may be diplomatic.
That's what the office requires, for the president to be of certain standard.
But even the Bible that you believe in said there's time for everything. This is the time to play tough, don't you think so?
When the time comes to play tough, we'll play tough.
All right.
What I'm doing to Liberians now is to let Liberians know there's better option out there than the 45 years people or the 30 years people or the 10 years people. There's better option out there. No, trust me, Sia. You know, I'm a glappy, you know, for Southeastern, you know, for us Southeasterners, we have, we have a history of strength. We are strong people. We're not weaklings. So when it's time for us to fight, we'll fight. And I just told you how I'm going to fight with Firestone. I'm not going to use Marshall, and I'm not going to say defense minister send it. No. We want to fight diplomatically, adequately, but at the same time, I want to maintain our position. A real fight is not how many punches you throw. It's how well you maintain yourself, but still sticking to your principle, a principle of truth, honesty, and service. Those principles will never be compromised.
Thank you. Let's come to appointments, Mr. Kwateh. You know, that is one of the consequential responsibilities of a president, that when that president screw up, that president will remain in political coma for some time. Somebody might be thinking, Maybe we have one. But hey, what I'm saying is that you will be appointing people. Who will you be appointing? What will you be looking for? And how will you hold those individuals accountable?
The first thing we want to set up our team, our presidential team. All right, there will be a task force for that too, because I don't want to be the only person making a decision in terms of allow me to use you. Say okay, Sonia Sia is the person for I know for information. Let's say into information stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I only want to receive recommendation, and then because again I have a experience in a review of RFP, request for proposal. That will also be like RFP. They'll be sending you, sending me, a profile and stuff like that. But it will be done on a team basis. We'll have a team of people that will scrutinize appointees. But here is what I'm going to do. I make no mistake about it. I said it before, and I will say, and let me make news on your show. This is the first time I'm going public with this, and this is news on your show. I hail President George Weah for appointing young people into his government. I salute President George Weah for doing so. One of the best things he did for Liberia.
What is best about it?
Like President George Weah, I'm going to do the same thing. But here's the difference I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure if I appoint Honorable Sia to Information Ministry, I should know that he's able to perform that job because he has some record of history in doing something when it comes to information. Okay. I'm not going to put Honorable Sia to Defense Ministry when I know he can't shoot a gun. He never shot a gun. I'm not going to put Honorable Sia to agriculture when I know the man never said anything.
The man followed a fisherman.
Yeah. So I won't do that. But I applaud this president, Honorable George Weah, for giving young people the opportunity. In our government, we want to have a blend of two, a mixture of two, old and young. Old in a sense that there are still some people.
And how does that in any way transform Liberia?
But that's what I'm coming to now. Like I said, I'm not just going to appoint anybody. I'm going to look at your record.
Okay.
Your record of service to Liberia, your record of service to humanity, your record of service to your and to yourself. All right. We're also going to look at what is that person's conviction, because passion is very key to what we do. I'm a very passionate person. I'm led by my passion and my conviction. Once I believe in something, I bring everything to it because I believe it. So I want to find, where do people stand? Where, there'll be questions for people to answer. We're not just going to take Honorable Sia, again, using you, allow me to say, I'm not going to take Honorable Sia and just say, yeah, you know what? I think he can speak well. I think he can write, so he's good for information. No, we're going to ask you a series of questions. And based on your response or your responses to these questions, we also the opportunity to know where to place you. But people will be vetted. That put it simply. They will be vetted and be scrutinized.
All right.
Yes,
thank you.
There will be young people in the government. There will be people from Liberia in the government. There will be people from abroad in the government. Liberia living in diaspora and Liberia living in Liberia. It will be a mixture of all. Everybody will have a place in my government. I will employ people from abroad. I will employ people from Liberia. So that's how it's going to be like. And women will be employed as well as men going to be employed. I take very seriously the employment of women. I take very seriously the empowerment of women. It's time for our girls and our women to stand up, to know that they have a president that will support them all the way. So yeah, there will be mixture of all. But yes, there will be young people in my government.
I'm showing something here. And I see All Liberian Destiny Party, ALDP. Motto: together we can do better.
Absolutely.
Is this political party registered in Liberia?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And so you are the political leader?
Yes, sir. We are a proposed party. The only thing we don't have now is our certificate, but we are fully registered. And what we're doing now, we have a letter from NEC to go and canvass. So we're in the process of canvassing and gathering our signatures for our certification. But we are fully registered. Yes, sir.
All right. So let's come to
let's go back to the previous question. You see, our name embodies who we are. all Liberian destiny party. That's why I said to you, all Liberians will have an opportunity in our government, but we're going to scrutinize people. We're going to vet people. Yeah, that's going to happen.
Liberia needs a president with a plan. And even having the best plan is not enough. Because what we heard recently is that there was a government that had plan, but they were doing PowerPoint presentation. My question is, what is your plan for Liberia, and how will you implement that plan?
We have a 5-pillar plan for Liberia. Well, first, we have our educational plan. For our educational plan, it's based on three-pronged approach.
Okay.
It entails the government, the parents, and the community. What we want to do on our educational plan, we want the parents, the community, and the government all working together, not working against one another, but working together. That's what we said in our motto: together we can do better. So here's our educational plan. We are intended to have our children go to school, all Liberian children, wherever they are, whoever they are, regardless of the last name or the first name. Once you are a Liberian child in Liberia, everywhere in Liberia, you have the right to education. Education will be a human rights issue. It won't be a privilege. It will be a human rights issue. So as government want to provide an education system where our children from K to 12 will have free education. Not only free education from K to 12, they will have access to breakfast and lunches. All of our children, not some. Also, we want to provide incentive for our teachers. Before our teachers are placed in the classroom, we want to make sure they are vetted, they are trained, and they are given the compensation they need. We may not be able to reach all of them at the same time in terms of maybe some teacher may be opting for higher amount and stuff like that, but we're going to have a base salary. But all teachers going to have training before you enter our classroom. You have to show certificate that you have passion to teach, that you have taught before, that you have gone through training before. We also going to facilitate the training. You don't have to worry about training. We're going to also make sure that our parents, like I said, the parents also have responsibility on our plan. The parents' responsibility will be in two folds. One, they should be ready to send our children to school, ready for school. The next thing, we want our parents to be involved in the children's school. Let the parents go to school and ask Professor Seyon, what's happened to my son Jacob? We don't want parents to just leave their children to the school system. We want the parents to go attend PTA meeting, Parent Teacher Association meeting. We want the parents to come to these meetings and ask how my child is faring or how my children are faring. We want that to be happen and to happen. We're going to encourage that to happen. Our healthcare plan. We want to make sure our nurses and doctors are trained. We're going to also provide incentive for our nurses and doctors. We're going to make sure that our hospital is accessible and affordable. Will it be free? I don't know yet. Probably it might be free. I don't know yet, but it will be accessible and affordable. That we're going to make sure of. We don't want people going to the step of JFK and die at the step because they don't have money. There will be no returning. No, there will be no money above people. In our healthcare plan, people above money. So we're going to ensure that we provide subsidies to different healthcare opportunities. We're going to work in partnership with them. The government will provide subsidies. We're going to do that. We're going to provide subsidies. So if JFK, JFK being the public and stuff, we're going to make sure JFK is the place where I'll be taking treatment from. I don't have to go to Ghana. How can I be president of Liberia and go to Ghana to take treatment? Come on, man. How can I be president of Liberia and come to America to take treatment? It's nothing wrong with America or Ghana. Thank God for Ghana. Thank God for America. But I want to make sure JFK is the place where I will take treatment. So if I can take treatment from JFK, it means that JFK has to be up to date. And how you do that is by providing the incentive, by providing the equipment, and by providing this training. That's going to happen. And I said it on one show, and I want to say on this show. If Honorable Seyon is the chief medical doctor of Liberia, the medicine that is given, the equipment and medicine are given to Honorable Seyon under his jurisdiction and command as the head person of that facility. We expect the equipment and the medicine to be used for that facility. No, Honorable Seyon, again, forgive me to say, you are chief doctor of JFK, then you get your Seyon and Seyon family medical clinic. Don't take the drugs and equipment for JFK to CA and CA family treatment. Don't do so. We'll come after you. Because what for JFK should be for JFK. What for a redemption hospital should be a redemption hospital. So those are things we want to do. Yeah. We come to our economic plan. There will be no monopoly in Liberia. There will be no monopoly. If Honorable CA has an opportunity to bring in business in Liberia, under our government, he will be guaranteed the opportunity to do so. You know why it does? It provides job opportunity. It provides incentive for our people. It provides hope for our people. We want to create job in Liberia. We're going to create job in Liberia. And how you do that is by breaking and all the strongholds, things that cause us to be where we are today. Today in Liberia, we are crying for job. It's because we are strangulated in many ways. Again, going back to the concession agreement, what are they offering us? Because concession agreements are meant for them to provide job opportunity. So the question is, what job opportunity are they providing? These current concession agreements. So there'll be no monopoly in Liberia. Also, we're going to pay people on time. We're going to increase our national budget from the one they have today, between 500 million to 600 million to $1.5 billion. And we are dead serious to increase our budget. How can Liberia be the oldest African country, enormously blessed with resources we have, yet we still having a budget of 500 million, 600 million in this 21st century? Then how do you expect JFK to be up to par? How do you expect our school system to be up to par when you still have a budget of $600 million? That will not happen under my watch. Also, to improve our economy, we're going to improve the rule of law to attract investors. Nobody wants to invest in Liberia with the current status we have today. Well, you hear people, people missing, this one happening, people die in car and stuff like that. All these things drive investors away. We're going to make sure investors come to Liberia. And one of the ways we're going to do it, we're going to call for war on economic crime courts in Liberia. Under my watch, I am a staunch advocate of that. I'm on record for that. 8 years ago, when we were calling for this, some people thought, because their hands were in the cookies jar at the time. When we called on Madam Salif to implement the TRC, people say, they lead the Omar Aloma, these people. Because why? Some of these very people, their hands were in the cookies jar. Today, these are the very same people calling for war crime court. So God be the glory. That's what we need. We said it then and we say it now. It's not because we said it then, so because people saying it now. No, we still need war crime and economic crime court in Liberia. And as president, I'm going to my first year, not my first term, but my first year. In my first year, I'm going to call for the establishment of war and economic crime court in Liberia. And that's
how are you going to do that? How are you going to do that?
The first thing I'm going to do as a president, like I said earlier, you asked me, as a diplomatic president, an honorable president, I'm going to reach out to legislature and extend my hands to the Senate and the representatives, asking them for us to come together and have a Liberian-driven war and economic crimes court.
President, we have did that, and we don't have any signs of this thing moving any forward.
You can ask President Weah, what did he do? Because the same President Weah came back from the UN and said at the airport that, so I won't speak for President Weah. We all did difference. I won't speak for him. Let me speak for what I would do.
Okay.
He asked me, how will I do that? So I'm trying to describe how it's going to be done. My first approach and my first hope, it should be driven by Liberians. So I'm going to reach out to our lawmakers to say, you know what, let's do this in good faith. Let us take the responsibility. Let us take the pride that we did it for ourselves. If that doesn't work, then we'll take the other route.
Thank you.
The Sierra Leone did. Then we'll write the UN and tell the UN come, because I will have the power as president. I will use my executive power as president to invite the UN. But my first approach would be to do it through the Liberian approach. So Liberian can take pride that they brought their own people to justice. But if that fails, then I will call. But what guarantee is we're going to make sure we have war and economic crime court in Liberia. It's long overdue, and I'm going to implement that. So that's part of my economic plan. Another thing we want to do, as part of my economic plan / agricultural plan, we want to make sure we have 15 arrest farm in all 15 countries. I'll be the first president who will not have a farm. I don't want to own I'm not going to own a rest farm, or I'm not going to own a farm so the president has a farm and stuff like that. No, I'm going to make the farm to be a Liberia owned farm. We're going to have rest farm in all 15 countries. We're going to also grow pepper. When we say we are green coast, when we say we are a rice eater, then we should produce rice for ourselves. We can't be a consumer of rice, then we stay waiting at the mercy of people to import rice into our country. Would there be importation of rice? Absolutely. Will we allow for importation of rice? Absolutely. But we're also going to grow our own food. We're going to grow rice. We're going to grow pepper, because it's time for us to do it. Now I'm hearing getting pepper from Guinea, pepper from Ivory Coast and stuff like that. God forbid. God forbid. What if we are in dispute with these different countries? What's going to happen if they close the border on pepper? Then what will happen to Liberia? Would there be pepper for us to consume? No. The answer is no. We have to do it on our own. The next approach is our defense act. I told you I have 5 pillars. Yeah. The fourth one is our defense act. Other than defense act, like America, something that I'm borrowing from America. This is something I'm borrowing from America because I'm American trained. All my experience for government I'm bringing is American trained, from my advocacy as a community organizer to my leadership as student leader and all of these things. Everything was trained and practiced and learned from right there in America. So as America, what I saw happen in America, you know, in terms of crisis, America sent for its people everywhere. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to defend Liberians everywhere they are, no matter where they are. Once we can get in contact with you, if anything happens, we will reach out for our people. We're going to protect Liberians, both home and abroad. Our defense act is to create a system where we are protected both externally and internally from external and domestic and external threats. We're going to, like I talk about taking Liberia into the future, it's time for us to modernize our army. Do we have fighter jets in Liberia? Do we have gunboats on our sea, navigating our waters and our airspace to protect us both from land and from sea? The answer is no. We have to reposition Liberia so Liberia can be in the position to defend itself. And as president, I'm going to fight for the repositioning of Liberia. We have a rising China. We have a changing face of America. We have a growing economy in Africa. The question now is, where is Liberia's position in this position of the global and geopolitics? Liberia has to reposition himself. It's time for Liberia to lead. We were the first country that got its independence in Africa, unless that history is not true. But if that history is true, then it's time for us to lead.
So let's get to your final pillar so I can throw in some questions here.
My last pillar will be infrastructure and tourism. We're going to promote tourism in Liberia. We got the Sapo National Forest there. We get other places there. Look at us. We're going to build 2 modern cities in Liberia. We can have Liberia, the oldest country, then we still have Monrovia, James Maroon, from 1800 to this day. Come on, man. This is the modern time. Look, when we talk about taking Liberia into the future, these are things we're talking about. Innovation, technology. We have cyber warfare now. Today, the war, you just saw what happened I think about a few weeks ago in Texas and other places with the gas. Yes, thank God. Cybersecurity. I was talking to a Liberian here, a good friend of mine. I won't call him last name, I'll just call him Marco Polo. That's how I call him. I said, look, Marco Polo, thank God you have a degree in cyber security, and many of you Liberians, I'll be reaching out to you. This is a new Liberia we're talking about. We have to be ready when it comes to cyber security. These are things we're talking about: infrastructure building, tourism building. So all of these things form part of our 5 pillars. But one thing I never show, Liberia will never be the same. All of these things describe a new Liberia, where we have the rule of law, where we have the promotion of human rights, where we have justice and accountability, where we have employment opportunity, job. Because when you take away monopoly, if you can bring in commodity, I can bring in commodity. You and I can employ Liberians. So these are things we're talking about. Yeah. And lastly, there will be place for our Zoko brothers and sisters, the one we call Zokos. They all form part of our infrastructure building, because we want to build centers for them. We can't have Zoko living in our country and think that we're going to have country and die forever. My little brother, let me declare on the show, it's a Zoko, the one we call Zoko. His name is Daniel. And I love my brother so dearly. And I promise him and promise all the Zoko, in fact, they call me Zoko Chief. And I promised them, I said, if I'm president, we're going to institutionalize the plight of Zoko, meaning that their plight will be enshrined in our national budget. They'll be placed in the national budget to take care of Zoko. So these are things we're going to do in Liberia. So it's a holistic approach, but based on 5 pillars.
Thank you so very much, folks watching us here, Focus on Liberia. You just listening to the Kwateh plan for Liberia. I don't know what you think, but we have a phone number below. You see the scrolling text right at the bottom. There is a phone number you can call, and if you have question for my guest, that is Presidential Hopeful Seyon Kwateh, Jacob Seyon Kwateh, you can have the opportunity, or you will have the opportunity to ask him any question. The thing, I was listening to you carefully. I still have more questions, so I think I will have to bring you back here. Um, you talk about you want to grow Liberia's budget to 1.5 million.
1.5 billion.
1.5 billion, thank you. In your own assessment, if you are serious about this transformation, this change, this development that you're preaching, tell me how much money you think is needed. Give me a rough estimate to just improve, revitalize, or revamp, or develop one of the sectors in Liberia. For example, education. Do you think how much money is needed to do that?
I can't give you, even though we say estimate, doesn't mean it's true or false. It's that what we call estimate. But like I talk about educational and plan, that's why we're increasing the budget from $6 million, from 600 million to 1.5 billion.
Yeah, because I got that. You articulated that. I want to know.
Yeah, question. That's what I'm trying to explain. That's what we call the estimate. I could say, you know what, it would take about 300 million. That's an estimate.
And you think that is enough money?
That's the point I'm coming to. Exactly my point. Exactly my point. So what I'm trying to say to you is that we're going to overhaul our educational system, meaning that the first thing we want to do, we have to first identify how many schools we have in the country, where they are, what are the challenges, and what are the opportunities they have. On my occasion in Liberia just a month ago, I visited 5 counties. I went to Nima and I visited 3 schools. And I saw the school conditions in Nima today, April 21st, April 2021. I was in Nima. So you cannot just say, you know, we'll give, like you asked, with 300 million being enough. I won't say yes or no. He asked for estimate, that's what I'm giving. But to be realistic, we want to have a clear, detailed plan. That's why we want to make sure we overhaul the entire system to know how many schools we have in the country.
So let me follow up here.
We don't want to leave any school out. This is not to put one school against the other. We want to make sure our school system is truly intact. So we want to first make sure how many schools we have in the country, where they are, what the challenges are, and what the opportunities are.
Let me follow up here. Yeah. Let me follow up here. The question is, you know, the first thing I'm getting from you is that, you know, it's not meant to say as an interviewer, I just supposed to ask the question, but like you, I'm looking for Liberia. I'm looking for leadership.
Yeah.
If I were running for president, I would tell Liberian people, I need $1 billion for each sector. I need $1 billion for agriculture. I need $1 billion for education. And I even say I need about $5 billion for infrastructure. You guys need to be bold. You guys bringing crumbs to us. You guys need to be bold. Imagine we've been operating with 500 million, which is $500 million. We have gone nowhere. And so for somebody to be telling me, oh, $1 billion, $1 billion is not even enough for a single sector for that country because we don't have anything. So those of you running for president, you need to be bold. But I think you've been very realistic. To be very fair to you, you've been very realistic because the money must come from Liberia. The government must generate the money and the infrastructure now in place to generate billions and billions of dollars. So the question is, how do you create the economic infrastructure that will raise the 1.5 billion that you are talking about to pay for all these services?
I'm glad that you said that, and thank you for your kind words, because I was going to pivot into that, you know, as a point of transition. But I'm glad you did that for me, so that makes it easy for me. You asked me about Firestone. Going back again, initially we talked about Firestone. All of these companies that operate in Liberia, this is where we want to get some of the money from. First thing, we have the natural resources there. Liberia has. And we thank God we are blessed to have the natural resources we have. So we want to look at different streams of revenue generation. It's not just going to be just getting money from abroad like we usually do. That would be the last option. I'm not even thinking about asking America for aid and China for aid. I will put America and China behind first. I'm talking about liberalization policy by Liberians, for Liberians, of Liberians. Liberalization policy by Liberians, of Liberians, for Liberians. Everything we need, we will explore first in Liberia. Where we fall short, then we reach out to our original and long-term partner. But the money is in our country. And one of the ways you can do that is first to create a system of safe haven. Liberia should have rule of law. We should enforce the rule of law. Once we have a country that everyone is taken seriously and held at the same standard with accountability, trust me, all these things will come together. Then you will attract investors coming. Then you will also be able to tell Embassy, say, on Embassy, you are responsible for finance ministry. And if on Embassy is responsible for finance ministry, and if on Embassy contradicts your value as a president, and you punish him publicly, and people can see that, oh, your own friend, you punish him publicly, then all these things will come together. That's how you grow the economy. By example, by punishing people that need to be punished publicly for acts of corruption and exploitation, and by also working with your partners, like the concession agreements we have, all the concession companies. Let's see what they are, what they're taking from Liberia, and what they live in Liberia. All these things will form part of our economic, our economic generation or our income generation. So there are different avenues. I can't point to one avenue, but what is essential is this. Like I said, I will put America and China on the back first. They will be there as standby. It will be driven by Liberians, of Liberians, and by Liberians. And that's how I intend to run this this country. Let Liberia take the lead first. If we can't make it, then we send our we stretch our hands. But it won't be like going for a token or going for handouts and stuff. No, it won't be that first approach. Yeah.
Mr. Dwalo, you are live. We have a call on the line. Mr. Dwalo, you are live.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Dwalo, hold on. You're not connected to the speaker. Hold on. Let me do the connection here. Yeah, hold on 1 minute. I don't know why the speaker is doing this to me. All right, go ahead. Let's see.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead. It's good.
Much better. And the phone kind of low.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing this.
It first much better, but now low. It a little bit lower. Yeah, let's see if we dare improvise.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, now much better now.
Okay, excellent. Okay, like I said before, I want to thank the brother for putting his heart in the race. It's a big deal. If another Liberian does, we all must commend it because it takes a lot of willpower to want to do that for Liberia. But my thing is, after listening to him, for me, off the back, if you're putting the sanitation in it, I cannot support you. That's just my personal thing. So I didn't hear about sanitation, so you myself would not buy. I don't do anybody who doesn't include sanitation of Liberia. Maybe that's something you can consider. But I want to say this to you. You were trying to do too much too quickly. It seems like you want to have submarines, you want to have aircraft carrier, you want to have everything. That is too much. The only advice I will call on the show and give you better is this. You have to narrow your intentions. You have to narrow your commitment. Liberia has so many problems. You have to pick 2 or 3 and try to address them. If you try to address everything at once, I believe you're going to fail. But I want to say this. Anthony asked you a question, and this is what I think. He asked, what are the problems in Liberia? And I firmly believe there are only 2 problems in Liberia. The lack of institutional governance and the lack of law enforcement. Those are our 2 major problems. And before I leave the line so other people can come on, and I want you to do this, Google a guide to picking Liberia's next president to see if you have the qualities that are required to become a president of Liberia. Thank you so much, brother. And thank you for what you do.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Dwalo. Let me bring in George Toto. Mr. Toto, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Sia. Let me say thank you to Mr. Kwateh. I know Mr. Kwateh way back in our days of community politics.
It's Kwateh. Kwateh.
Yeah, Mr. Kwateh, yeah. We're not too used to the Kwateh that the Seyon day.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially during our day of community politics. We all you like those days.
That's correct.
I know him very well. I know his passion when you want to accomplish things. But one thing I want to ask him is like he can five pillows. And that year, but his foreign policy approach will be mountains of debt that have been left on Liberia from previous regime. What are some of the approaches you're going to take to help to eradicate some of those debt that Liberia has incurred for previous leadership?
All right. Thank you. Yep. You want to take those questions quickly?
Yes. So the first caller talked about sanitation. You know, he didn't hear anything about sanitation. I think he's right. I didn't expressly mention sanitation, but it's in my infrastructure plan. All right. No, he couldn't be more correct. I recognize I have an ambitious plan. From day one, I knew I have an ambitious plan, and it's huge. But that comes with the responsibility, because a president should be able to multitask. All right, we are running a government. We're not running a social club or a susu club. No offense to the caller. He makes a very prominent point, and his observation is keen. And I'm not saying this to overlook what he said. All right, but I'm just trying to say in reference that a president should be able to multitask. And Liberia's problem is not one. It's just not one side of the problem. He asked me previously, what are the problems in Liberia? And I told you, quite frankly, honestly, you can't point to one thing, even though he tried to narrow it down to two things. And two of the things he narrowed down to it's all part of the huge problem we have. Law enforcement, that's why I talk about the rule of law. All right, sanitation. All right, it's true. So I understand this plan. From the time we started this and this stuff, we knew that we have ambitious plan, because on day one we have to get going. And this plan is not my personal plan; it's Liberia's plan. I'll be counting on him. I'll be counting on you, Brother Toto, every one of us. This is our plan. That's what we name our party, the All Liberian Destiny Party, because it requires all of us, all hands on deck, to make this stuff happen. He talked about Honorable Toto. Yes, thank you, and thank you, Josh, for recognition. It's true. From ULA, for OLM, we've been in this community service. And thank you for one person who recognized my passion. This is the same Seyon, yeah. Previously Seyon Yamle. This is the Seyon Yamle who changed his name about 6 years ago to Jacob Seyon Kwateh. So, Brother Toto, you're right. No, most of you call me Seyon. But here's the deal. On our foreign policy, America remains our #1 ally. And we have our platform right here. The only reason I don't want to read from the platform, because I don't want to do it forbiddenly, but this is our platform. In our platform, in our manifesto, we have everything here for foreign, for national defense and on foreign. Everything is here. On governance and corruption, everything is here. We have everything here outlined. All right, and we're going to have bilateral and multilateral agreements. Like I said earlier, we have a rising China. How do we reposition ourselves to work with China in a way that we are respected and not overlooked when it comes to trade, China-Africa trade? We have a changing face of America. We have seen it. We saw what coronavirus did. We saw we all live here. We see the changing face of America. How do we reposition ourselves so that our long-term and historical ally remains our ally? Then we have a rising economy in Africa. Africa now is moving on a trajectory where everybody is speeding in one direction. Africa for Africans, Africans for Africa. So what is Liberia's position in that area? So when it comes to foreign policy, we are open to making sure that first thing, Liberia's defense should be first.
Mr.
Our foreign policy entails defending Liberia first. That's just a battle line. The first caller talking about fighter jet and stuff like that. I mean, for God's sake, man, we are a country. Liberia is a sovereign country. And every sovereign country should have the right to protect itself. Yes, we're going to reach out to partners to let them know our intention. You asked in the conversation we had, you talk about, going to Firestone with a position of strength. This is the position of strength. We want to get to our partners, our long-term ally, of course, the great United States, and let them know this is what we need as a country. And we need it because these are changing times. The world is different place. These are different times in our world. So we can't be waiting for other countries to tell us what to do. Somebody talk about debt relief. The way you have debt relief, the first thing you do is to put the economic house in order. And how you do that is by showing a demonstration, by accountability. And I said,
your plan there, do you have a website where people can go to read the entire plan?
No, we haven't posted them on website yet, but yeah, they are. This is our manifesto.
Yeah, right? I see that. Do you have a website?
No, we haven't created our website yet. Yeah, once we create a website, we'll put it on. But I just want people to know that I'm not saying this thing off my head. These things are documented. All right. These things are documented. We have our manifesto here to show to Liberian people what we want to do for them.
I see.
We're not just talking things off the head.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's go to some comments here. We have a lot of comments, about 120 of them. I'm not sure we're going to get it all, but let's read as many as possible and get your response. This is Tomo Awoji. What is the residency clause for running for president in Liberia? This person writes. Thomas Awoji again, we need a new dark horse. I'm tired with the same old folks. Lord knows we need transformation in Liberia. He's saying they're tired with the same old folks. Alexander Wesley, what does he want to change in Liberia and how is he going to do that? Let's get this one from Tanun Gibson. We really need leaders and institutions who can put the country and people first. They should be all about the country and the people. Selfishness and corruption create stagnation and delays in development. I think it should be a delay in development for the ordinary people and the country. Let's hear from Dave Ja. How are you different from the same Minnesota that gave us where? Someone, that is Dave Ja, asking that question. John Manwolo, you see the degree of how low our country has gone to. A guy who only capability is students government. My God, do these people take the presidency for joke? Haven't they learned anything from the Joshua presidency? Liberians need to be more serious than that. Well, I'm sure he's going to respond later on. The year from Ansu, that is Dwalo here. Liberia has only two problems: lack of institutional guidance and lack of law enforcement. I think he said that. Yellow from Jimmy Eastman. What makes a staff? What is this? What makes a staff? I know Kwateh think that he is capable and it has the leadership skill. It has the leadership skill and experience to run Liberia as president. That large organization, what large organizations or government position has he run before? He said, okay, the man say you have to be able to run a big organization before. Propo King, this guy could be the dark horse if he disassociate himself from the past. He could be the generational change. You make an impression on somebody there. Jimmy Eastman made some correction here. Let's hear from somebody new. Propo King again seems to be okay. Let's hear from Sambula. We need to develop our minds. We need to develop our minds. Number one, when we develop our mind, life will be a better place for us. We can develop Liberia and Liberians. Thank God, Mama Liberia and Liberians. That person is making some appropriate comments there. If I can pull it that way. Let me see. Dennis Jai again. How will you pay for the plan, sir? The country is broke. I think I asked that question. Let's hear from King Jabba. What happened to the tournament money in Minnesota surrounding Tunanda's Aja. Somebody is asking question. I don't know what that person is talking about there. Let's hear from Solomon now. At least this guy is trying to explain how he is going to implement his plan. Somebody say, at least you are trying, probably making a point that some people couldn't even do that. Let's hear from this video from YouTube. Will you still let the USAID audit the government of Liberia? Well, a lot of comments, but just few I was able to get to there. Mr. Kwateh, I'm calling you Kwateh to Mr. Kwateh. What do you make of that?
Yes, first let me appreciate all of the responses. Let me appreciate everybody who called in and participating. This is what we need. This is a freedom of expression and exchange. This is what we need in Liberia. We need people to disagree. We need people to agree. That's how we change Liberia. This is the new Liberia I'm talking about. I'm going to be president for 5 million people. I don't expect all 5 million to endorse me. Then there will be selection. I want to be elected. I don't want to be selected. So I truly honor all of the comments. Those who spoke favorably, those who asked questions, those who want to see what happened or what I can do. All of you, I say hats off to you. But even taking your time to participate in this, I say hats off to you. But here's the deal: we cannot take Liberia back. We just cannot do that. We all should refuse to do so. It's time for us to take Liberia into the future. And what I'm describing today is the new Liberia I'm describing. A Liberia where accountability is the fulcrum, no matter who's involved. Whether you are my friend or my family or whoever you are, accountability should be the focus. How we raise money to pay for our plans, Honorable Dana just asked, and you asked, and other people asking, it's simple. Liberia doesn't need money from outside. Liberia is a blessed, rich country. We have the resources. We have the mechanism to generate our own money. Why are we lacking? To go back to Douala, I think one of the
Doualo.
He couldn't have said it better. We need institutional reform and, of course, the rule of law, and all falls into one word: accountability. That's what we need. We need to hold ourselves accountable. It's not time to make excuses. All right, your cousin did something, say, oh, because I'm a cousin, so I take responsibility. You don't run government by taking responsibility for your cousin action. Let your cousin or your nephew or nieces bear the consequences for their action. So on our plan, we're going to ensure accountability is the fulcrum. How we pay for this? Again, Liberia is a rich country. Whether we like it or not, Liberia is a rich country. What we're lacking is the lack of enforcement of accountability. All right. So part of paying for our plan is to ensure that our people are checkmated, making sure that our public officials are held accountable, not just people in the executive branch, but the entire government system, from the judiciary, the legislature, everybody involved. We cannot be paying legislature 10,000, 15,000, then the same time giving them gas slip, giving them, strike cards. Come on, man. That money can be diverted to something that's how we pay for our development. Instead of giving lawmakers them $10,000 and give them phone cards and give them, gas slip, take that money and divert it to something for the country. Improve the education system. Yes, we're going to raise money to pay for our plan, but the first thing is we're going to ensure there is the rule of law. Once we have the rule of law, everything will check and will fall in place.
Let's take this caller. Been waiting. Caller, your name and where you joining us from. Caller, hello, are you there?
Hello, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. Your name and where you joining us from.
I am DJ Finance and I'm joining you from Oregon.
DJ Finance, that is Conan Hub, right?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Hello, thank you for the show. Thank you so much. I'm really enjoying it. I don't know much about, because I came in the show a little late, but from what I'm hearing, I just wanted to, add something to it. Since this is our potential presidential candidate, I just want to say, sir, you are speaking too generally, like everything you're saying, you're not giving us the numbers. So I'm not sure if you live in Liberia or if you understand, like how many schools in Liberia might need help, for example. where would those schools be? You know, which area specifically, when you become a president, will you be focusing on, and why? You know, I mean, we want to, if you're going to focus on risk, what exactly are you going to do? How are you going to do it? So I feel like everything you're saying, you're just speaking generally. You know, it's like you are having a conversation instead of speaking to the people. Like you really want them to understand that I know Liberia and I'm going to work for you. But when I'm listening to you, I'm just hearing you talking. You sound like everybody else. You know, you sound like you are generalizing the topic. You're not trying to go into details. So I'm not really happy as a Liberian who is listening to someone who wants to rule our country. You know, we want to know the numbers. How many people in Liberia? I feel like you
DJ
actually have a
Finance,
general statement when, yeah.
You support President Weah, right?
I'm not talking about President Weah right now. I'm actually just talking
DJ
about this
Finance,
candidate.
do you support President Weah?
100% do, yes.
Did he articulate well the problems that Bro had before you are supporting him?
Yes.
All right.
Or else I wouldn't be supporting him. And that's why I'm hoping that, Mr. Jacobs, I believe, will be, you know, because for me, if you want to be the president, you got to be better than the current sitting government.
All right. Thank you.
You have to bring something better. So I'm not getting what you can bring better to the table is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you for calling. We appreciate your call.
Uh-huh.
All right. Bye-bye.
Do you want me to respond to that?
Please do.
Yes. So let me say thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sister. Please allow me to call you sister, please. Thank you. I think your comment is a fair one. Everybody has a right to their opinion. And I won't sit here and say that I even applaud you to even hear a woman to call, because we want to empower women. And I guess, like you said, you might have come in at the time I've already articulated some of my specific plan, but for the sake of the public in the domain, I will reiterate some of the things I said, specifically on education, so you can have an understanding of what I want to do with education. But first, I applaud you. Don't be afraid to speak up your mind. As a president, I will welcome disagreement and agreement. So feel free. Even if you don't agree with me, I appreciate you. Thank you for calling. So education, I said earlier, our education plan is in three-pronged approach. We're going to be working as parents, community, and government. For my education plan, I want to make sure from K through 12, our children are given free and access to education, free education. We're also going to provide lunches and breakfast to them. We also said we're going to set up a presidential task force to overhaul. Maybe you didn't hear that, but let me repeat. We're going to overhaul the education system. The purpose of doing that is to answer the question you asked. What is the number, or what are the numbers? How can I know the number if I haven't gone to check how many schools we have? So this will afford us the opportunity to know how many schools are there. And I said we're going to check how many schools we have, where they are, what the challenges are, and what the opportunities are. That's problem solving. To problem solve, you first have to understand what the problem is. Then you provide solution. So, and my intent is to make sure all of our children, not some of them, but all of our children, those in Kamweta, in Buto, in the villages, those in how you call it, man? Mafala Huntan, Kamustan, in the butchers, those in Morovia, in PHP, where I came from, everybody in between, all of our children should have access to free and better education. So we want to know what the challenges are and what the opportunities are. We also said in our education plan, we're going to provide training for our teachers.
Yeah, Mr. Kwateh, I think we should stop that part. You know, she missed that part. We can allow you to go over and explaining what you articulated earlier because of time, sir. So let me progress here. We are just about to close here. I see we almost clocking an hour and 30 minutes. We don't want to go above that. So of all of the plans that you have articulated, this is what I want you to do for us in closing. Number one, why should Liberians take you serious? That you're serious about running to be president. Where's the money going to come from for you to run your campaign? I mean, who are the individual? What's the team that going to make you to succeed? Because you can't run for president as an individual. That's one. Then two, of all the plans you articulated, which one is your priority and why?
Education and healthcare, because you cannot, no nation thrives without education. To bring in fighter jet, the people should be educated to use the fighter jet. To grow rice, the people should have the education to know how to do the planting and stuff like that. When to harvest, when to plant. So education is the priority. Because we need an educated population to be able to compete with the Community of Nations we have today. The world is a changing place, and Liberia cannot digress. We have to progress. So education, number one. Two, healthcare. A healthy nation is a prosperous nation. Our people cannot be sick, literally sick, and then you expect them to perform. We have to be alert. We have to be ready. We have to be in good health. So if I had to take any of my elaborate and ambitious plan, education and healthcare would be my priority, because the two are inextricably linked. You cannot divorce the two. For you to go to school, you have to be healthy. For you to be healthy, you have to have the education to be able to apply the stuff. You asked me the question about how can I do this? People always, the only thing I've gotten so far, all the time, even in Liberia, everywhere I went, the number one question people ask me, does he have money? Does he have money? I know our politics have been monetized. I know people have infused stolen money, all kind of money into politics. I know that. I'm not stranger to that. She asked, I was in Liberia. I just came back from Liberia, and I'm on my way to Liberia very soon. I'll be back in Liberia. I love the country, and I thank God for giving the opportunity to step up to the opportunity and to the place to say, this time I want to lead this country because this country needs me. You ask, why am I different, or why do they trust me? Because I'm the best person for Liberia right now. No joke. I'm not saying it to my own home. Do we have money to run our campaign? Absolutely. How can I come to the presidential race without saying I don't have money? The idea that, because it is this a built-up conception that it is conceived that people who get money, or it is assumed that either can be conception or assumption, that people who get money, when they go into government, they will not steal and stuff like that. That's not true. We have seen people who get money, so-called money, and they have studied enough from our country. We've seen it. People who have so-called contact, international experience, or the degree. Somebody asked, this man just has student government experience. I don't want to have student government experience. I'm a seasoned politician. I work in the state. I helped to make President Obama president as a prison captain for my state of Minnesota. I enjoy that. We ran Obama campaign in 2008. Joe Biden, who's president today, when he was on the ticket as vice president, we ran the campaign. And I posted a picture recently for people to see. So we're not just talking. We come with experience. I serve on the Park and Recreation Board. I work with the city of Brooklyn Park City Council as a commissioner on the Park and Recreation for 3 years. I work with the state of Minnesota on the Park and Recreation for 3 years. These are all governmental entities. I work with the police for 5 years, Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center Police Department, building bridges, building community for 5 years, from 2007 to 2012. So while it's true I haven't worked in Liberian government to say, I come with that government experience from Liberia, but I do have experience in government. I'm a student of politics. Come on, man. I have a degree in political science from one of the best universities in the world, University of Minnesota. That's why I get my political science degree for international relations. So I'm not coming to this stuff with somebody who coming from engineer background. No disrespect to engineer. They're wonderful people, high tech, fast thinker, brilliant Liberians or brilliant people. But I'm a political student, a student of politics. This is my tough. Besides that, I have always been in leadership since I knew myself. I've been president for different institutions. Yes, I've run community organizations in this place, and I've also been part of governmental institution making. On the state board, we dealt with millions of dollars to make a decision for park system. I was responsible for 7 cities: Brooklyn Park, Osceola, Maple Grove, and other cities. So I'm not coming like somebody who's naive to talk. That's why I don't like to talk about my education, but I like to talk about what I want to do for Liberia. So what I'm saying to you folks, I am the best person for Liberia. Whether you vote for me or not, I'm the best person for Liberia. This is why I said this. One, I want to lead this country with the love of God and the fear of God. That's what's missing in our country. We always have leaders who came and said they know it all. For me, I don't know it all. I'm depending on you, Liberians, for us to change this country. If you think I'm going to perform miracle, you waste your time. I'm not a miracle working God. Only Jesus Christ, this man up here. He's the one perform miracle. I don't perform miracle. But because I am his child, and because I believe in him, and I'm coming in his name, in the name of Jesus. So I'm going to lead you with the fear of God, by doing unto you what I expect you to do unto me. By serving you. He demonstrated by washing the feet of his disciples. You see them up there. He washed the disciples' feet. So he showed us what it means to be a leader. It's not to be a boss. It's to be a servant. So I'm going to be a servant, but I'm going to do it in love and accountability. Don't overlook me, folks. If you want to overlook me, that's fine. You have right to do so. But don't try us. We have 3 words for you. I said it in Liberia. I'm going to say it on the show. 3 words. Don't try us. Don't try us, folks. Don't see us looking young and be intimidated by our youngness, or see us, no government experience, then think that we are naive. No, we're not naive, folks. We've been around government. We haven't been appointed in government. We haven't been elected into government, but we've been around government. We are students of government. We've been around government in America, the great America. We've been around government here, from the state to the city level. So we know one of 2 things about government. But what we do know also is that every government, the primary responsibility of every government is to protect the weak from the strong. It's to lift the people out of poverty. It's to provide basic needs for the people. That's what government is about. It doesn't say you have to have PhD to do what I just said. It doesn't say you have to have 50 years of experience in government doing nothing, because the people that been in government are some of you trying to carry back. They've been in government before. What did they do? What did they do? This is serious, Liberians. If we have to be honest with ourselves, then if we have to change our country, we have to be honest with ourselves. The people that been there 30 years, 20 years, that been elected representative, senator, this one, president, but what have they done for Liberia? The country is still a mess. So join us. Let's go and clean that mess, because we created a mess. We did. We fought war. We fought war in our country. 1 minute, Chief. I'm almost there. Please, give me 2 seconds. Or give me one more minute. Please, I apologize. 1 more minute. This is very important. We fought war in our country. Today, people are jumping on war crime code. When we said it 8 years ago, Kafuma Kroma had me on the show. Go check YouTube, Seyon Yamlet, and my view on war and economic crime code. 8 years ago, when we said it, because people were putting their hand in Malacetes Cookie's job, they said, oh, we're attacking the old man and stuff like that. Today, these very same people calling for war crime code. Come on, man. But we thank God it's for Liberia, because we want the best for Liberia. So it doesn't matter who calls for it, who doesn't call for it. But as president, I can assure you, in my first year, I'm not saying my first term, in my first year, I'm going to ensure there's war and economic crime code in that country. It's going to happen, and I'm going to do it. I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Seer, I can't be more grateful to God for you. This is an opportunity you just gave me, golden opportunity to tell me so over 100 more comments and people calling in live. This is an opportunity I can't miss. I want to thank you. I want to thank Brother Ja and the team of Focus on Liberia for the work you guys are doing. Please continue on your work, because you are the reasons why we have Liberia. Your voices, you're trying to amplify our voices and use the media to amplify our voices. So my hat off to you and your team. I want to thank you all. Fellow Liberians, let me close with this. Our country needs all of us. It's no time to play a game. I may look young, it's true. I may not have 10 years or 30 years of experience in government or doing nothing, it's true. But thank God for those things. But what I do have is this. I love that country so dearly. And I have the heart to stand up for that country. And people who know me will tell you, character matters. Character matters. And that's what Liberia needs. And I have that. May God bless our country. May God bless our people. I love you, Liberia. I love you all. Thank you so much.
That was the verse of presidential hopeful for 2023, Jacob Seyon Kwateh. Mr. Kwateh, it was an honor having you and also interviewing you as you start this journey to represent our country or serve our country as its president. Folks, the search for a president for Liberia, we can't overemphasize it. Some have come and they all have gone, and some today we have. Are we proud of our country in terms of development? When we look at the living standard of our people, are we proud? Are you happy when you visit Morovia? Are you happy when you visit your county? If you compare your country with even country in the South region, are you happy? Are you happy when you leave America and go to Liberia and the light can be on for even 6 hours? Are you happy with that? The reason they have it here is leadership, seriousness, commitment, love, patriotism, and all of the above. Minimum corruption, training, and all these things can be possible only through leadership, be it at a community level, at the church level, only through leadership. That is the crumbs of our problem. In my understanding of politics, leadership makes a difference. Yes, it does. I saw that when Thomas Sankara was elected president of Burkina Faso. He served for just 4 years. He died out, he was killed at the age of 37. And if you read about him, you see how much he has accomplished in that poor country of West Africa, in 4 years. I just saw John Magufuli served the people of Tanzania. In just less than 12 years, he turned that country into a middle-income country. It can be done in Liberia. It requires leadership. I don't know where that leader will come from. That is why here I focus on Liberia. We will interview anybody who wants to be president of Liberia. Biblically speaking, what's his name? David, who brought down Goliath. He was a boy. Yes. Who thought he would have done that? But somewhere, somehow, he was the anointed one. I don't know who that person is going to be. And so when people are making denigrating comments about their fellow citizens exercising their constitutional right, their rights as Liberian citizens, saying, I want to be president, they are not going into the bushes, and all you have to do is denigrate them because you love somebody. That is embarrassing. We can't build a country that we can be proud of. Let us listen to each other. Let us hear each other's out. And it should not be limited to Weir, to Erling, to Doe, to Taylor. It must be given to every Liberian because we don't know who that one's going to be that will take us to that glorious land of liberty that will be ours for us to be proud of. And on that note, I'll tell you, my fellow Liberians, there is a song here. That song says we are all Liberians. And that song is taking us home. Mr. Kwateh, good luck. Good luck and good luck on this journey. We just hope you will be that one to change our country. I'm looking for that change. Now this quasi change that Joshua is giving on. Oh, that how fearless I am. That guy myself from the same town. But I go after him because I know we deserve better. And he is not giving us better. Thank you, fellow Liberians. Bye-bye.
God bless you.
We are Liberians.